So hello students and welcome back and again to another video tutorial by Genome Biotech. In this video tutorial, we will be talking about the process of transcription, that what is eukaryotic transcription and how does eukaryotic transcription actually takes place in a cell. Okay, so transcription, as I have already told you, transcription was the process in which involves the formation of the mRNA or the RNA transcript from the DNA. Process for the formation of process for the formation of mRNA transcript of mRNA transcript is referred to as the transcription. The single RNA polymerase is present in the case of prokaryotes. When you talk about prokaryotes, there is a single RNA polymerase which is present. The single RNA polymerase which is present in prokaryotes catalyzes the entire reactions of transcription in the case of prokaryote. This RNA polymerase which is present in the case of prokaryote has different subunits. Now, the two larger subunits are homologous to the beta subunits, and then there are the alpha sigma subunit which is present along with the RNA polymerase. This RNA polymerase in the case of prokaryote has the following subunit: alpha alpha dash, beta beta dash, sigma factor, and omega is present. Okay, there is a factor that is referred to as sigma factor, and this part forms the core enzyme complex. Sigma factor is the one that will be able to recognize the promoter sequence. Sigma factor will recognize the promoter sequences. Okay, now whereas in the case of eukaryote, when you are going to talk about eukaryote, in the case of eukaryote there are three different types of RNA polymerase: RNA polymerase 1, RNA polymerase second, and RNA polymerase third. These are the three different types of RNA polymerase which are present in eukaryotes. Although the structure of RNA polymerase in majority of the eukaryotes as well as the prokaryote is the same, the only difference lies in the case of prokaryote and eukaryote, that there is a single RNA polymerase in prokaryote and there are three different RNA polymerases in the case of eukaryotes. So in the case of RNA polymerase 1, the large RNA precursor molecule is processed into 5.8S rRNA, into 18S rRNA, and 28S rRNA. So RNA polymerase 1 is involved in the formation of rRNA transcript. So it is involved in the formation of rRNA transcript. Okay, formation of rRNA transcript of rRNA from from the nucleolus that is referred to as NOR region, and NOR region is present on the chromosome 13, 14, 15, 21, and 22. Okay, these are the regions where NOR is present. The large rRNA precursor molecule is processed into different types of RNA molecule: 5.8S RNA, 18S RNA, and 28S RNA. RNA polymerase second products. RNA polymerase second produces the mRNA as well as the snRNA. So mRNA and snRNA, small nuclear RNA, and the mRNA are being produced by the RNA polymerase second. So RNA polymerase second is the major RNA polymerase which is responsible for the formation of the messenger RNA, and it would be this messenger RNA that would lead to the formation of the protein molecules. It would be this mRNA that will lead to the formation of proteins. Now, the next important point, the RNA polymerase third. The RNA polymerase third is responsible for the formation of 5S rRNA. You look here that every rRNA is being produced by the nuclear organizing region. Okay, please do refer to the nuclear organizing region or the nucleolus video of mine, where you will get all the information of the nucleolus within 5 minutes. And here What is exceptional is that the 5s rRNA, the 5s rRNA is present extensively in the cell, and it is the one that would be transcribed by the activity of RNA polymerase third. Its gene is encoded on chromosome number first. So where is its gene present? On chromosome number first. Chromosome number first. Okay, and there is no nucleolus involved. No nucleolus involved, or there is no nor involved. No nor. Okay. Next, one of the most important RNA, again the tRNA, the transfer RNA, that was involved as an adapter molecule, that is being used as an adapter molecule for amino acid translocation, amino acid translocation, as well as, this is important, translocation. Another thing that is very, very important, you just have to read here is that, just a second, I can look at how to write it out. Hmm. See, tRNA always work as the template for the tRNA always works. tRNA always acts as acts as a primer for the activity of a primer for the activity of HIV virus, HIV virus or retroviruses. Every retrovirus actually requires a primer, and the host tRNA always act as a primer for the activity of the retrovirus to be resumed. Retrovirus resumes its activity only when the tRNA is being provided as a primer molecule. Then the next one is U6SNRNA. What do you mean by U6SNRNA? U6SNRNA is involved in mRNA silencing complex. Okay, it is this U6SNRNA that is involved in mRNA silencing complex. Then this U6SNRNA was also present in the case of transposons. If you can remember, it is this U6SNRNA that belongs to the ALU family of the transposons. Then the 7SL scRNA is present. Signed transcript, again transposons are present. So all the transposons are being transcribed by RNA polymerase third. The next question that is of utmost importance is about the activity of a compound that is referred to as alpha amantine, which is being obtained from a plant that is referred to as Amanita phyloides. And this plant, just a second, Amanita phyloides is providing this alpha amantine. This alpha amantine act as a death cup. It is this alpha amantine that act as a death cup, and this alpha amantine is most sensitive. The RNA polymerase second is most sensitive to this particular alpha amantine. So, on the basis of sensitivity, we can write RNA polymerase second. RNA pol second. Pol second is most sensitive, followed by RNA pol third. RNA pol third, and the least sensitive of all is RNA pol 1. RNA pol 1. It is the least sensitive one. Okay, so it is completely resistant, and this is most sensitive. Most sensitive. So such type of questions are asked. So alpha amantine when provided to a person will completely block protein biosynthesis. Now, eukaryotic promoters. Now, what do you mean by eukaryotic promoters? In eukaryote, the term promoter is used to describe all the sequences that are important in initiation of transcription of a gene. So, eukaryote contains promoters. Okay, eukaryotes uses the term that is referred to as promoter, and this promoter is being used to describe the sequences of that are important in initiation of transcription of a particular gene. All the sequences that are responsible for the transcription of a particular gene is referred to as eukaryotic promoter molecules. These promoter initiate the process of transcription. So what do you mean by promoters? Promoters are cis-acting, position dependent, cis-acting, position dependent DNA sequences. Position dependent DNA sequences. Dependent DNA sequences which are necessarily required for the accurate and effective transcription of genes, which are necessarily required for the accurate and effective transcription of gene, for the accurate and effective transcription of gene. So all those sequences which are necessarily required for the accurate and effective transcription of genes are referred to as eukaryotic promoters. Okay, the eukaryotic promoters can be described into the RNA polymerase 1, RNA polymerase 2nd, and RNA polymerase 3rd promoters. Okay, so RNA polymerase first promoters. As you can look here, this is the RNA polymerase first promoter. RNA polymerase first contain two different types of promoter sequences with consensus sequences, and those are the core promoter from -40 to +20, and the upstream control element, which is commonly referred to as UCE. Okay, so RNA polymerase is going to bind to this UCE and core promoter and will transcribe the transcription of the ribosomal DNA. The other type of promoter which is present is referred to as RNA polymerase third promoter. Now, you can see that majority of the promoters will have the sequences upstream to the start point. All the consensus sequences will be upstream. See, this is the start point of transcription. +1 means that is the start point of transcription. The start point of transcription. From here, start point of transcription. The transcription is going to be initiated. Transcription. It is from this point that the transcription is going to be initiated. The transcription is going to be started. So if transcription is going to be started from this particular point, then it is referred to as the start point of the transcription, and all the sequences before the start point are referred to as upstream sequences. Upstream sequences. I have already told you, if you could have remembered, these are referred to as upstream sequences. And all the sequences after the start point are referred to as the downstream sequences. Such type of sequences are called as downstream sequences. These are referred to as the downstream sequences. Okay, so majority of the promoters always have upstream sequences except RNA polymerase third. You look at RNA polymerase first, it has upstream sequences. You look at RNA polymerase second, it has all upstream sequences, but it is the RNA polymerase third that have downstream sequences. So note, kindly have a note of this particular point, which is very important. See, I'm writing a note. You can also note the same. RNA polymerases usually have a upstream upstream promoter except except in case of except in case of RNA pol second, RNA pol third, which has downstream promoters. Full stop. These are type 1 internal and type 2 internal. These are type 1 internal and type 2 internal. Okay. The consensus sequences in case of RNA polymerases, third promoter, third promoter can also have consensus sequence upstream type, which is exceptional to RNA pol third. So usually RNA polymerase third, usually the RNA polymerase third that is present, they always have downstream promoters. Okay, these are downstream promoters, downstream consensus sequences, consensus sequences. They have downstream consensus sequences, but sometimes the upstream consensus sequences are also being present. So RNA polymerase can be type 1 internal or it could be type 2 internal, but there are certain times that upstream type is also present. In the case of upstream type, there are certain upstream consensus sequences. Upstream consensus sequences present. Consensus sequences are present, and these consensus sequences have oct region, PSC region, and the Tata box present within themselves. So these are the three different types of consensus sequences which are present. Okay, now moving forward. RNA polymerase second promoters. Now, what do you mean by RNA polymerase second promoters, and how does RNA polymerase second promoters are present? Okay, so we have to look at the RNA polymerase second promoters, and what are the RNA polymerase second promoters? Now, RNA polymerase second, just deleting all the things that I have written here. Hopefully, it would be clear to majority of you. Okay, so RNA polymerase third that I have already told you here contains the type 1 promoters, the type 2 promoters, and the type third promoters. The type 1 promoters which are present, they contain the certain consensus sequences. Those are referred to as the box A. Another one is referred to as the box C, whereas type second internal contains box A and box B. These are the two different types of consensus sequences which are present, and the upstream type contain three different consensus sequences: the oct, the PSE, and the third box that is referred to as the Tata box. So these are the three different types of consensus sequences present here. Okay, so this type second promoters belongs to the tRNA type of polymer promoters which are present, whereas the U6SN RNA type of promoters which are present are type third promoters of the RNA polymerase third. RNA polymerase third type third promoter. RNA polymerase third type second promoters include the promoters for the tRNA genes. Next is referred to as RNA pol second promoters. What do you mean by RNA polymerase second promoters? RNA polymerase second promoters are exceptional to the case that these promoters have enhancer, upstream control element, Tata box, and INR sequence. It is these sequences which are highly consensus. And these are the sequences that we have been talking about: the Pribno box, the Hogness box, and the other different types of boxes which are being associated with the DNA molecule. In the case of RNA polymerase second, here we have certain sequences that can regulate the process of transcription by providing the binding site for the activator molecules. Okay, here what could bind? Activators could bind. Activators could bind. Once the activators could bind, they will lead to the formation of, they will lead to the activation of enhancer molecules. Once the enhancer gets activated, it will activate the transcription of all the other genes. Okay, transcription of all the other genes will take place. Activate the transcription of all other genes. Activators activators binds to enhancers, binds to enhancers, and activate the transcription of all, and activates the transcription of, the transcription of all downstream genes, of all downstream genes. Okay, next, RNA polymerase second promoters are variable and can stretch for several kilobase pair in length. The RNA polymerase second promoter can consist of two different types of core sequences, and those core sequences are the Tata box and the INR sequences. One is referred to as the Tata box, and another one is referred to as INR sequence. Here you can find there is a box that is called as Tata box. Another one is referred to as the initiator sequences, which are present. Okay, some genes transcribed by RNA polymerase second only have one of these two component of the core promoter, that whether they have the INR sequence or the Tata box. Surprisingly, some of the genes may have neither. Those genes which have neither are referred to as the null genes. Null genes do not have any component of the RNA polymerase second genes. That is, they lacks INR and Tata box both. They lacks INR sequence and Tata box. Sequence and Tata box. And Tata box. So when both of these INR sequences and Tata box are absent, then such type of genes will be referred to as the completely null genes. Okay, those would be referred to as the null genes. So here we can find it out. Apart from the two promoter elements which are present, apart from the two promoter elements that may lead to the formation of these molecules, the Tata box and the INR sequence, there are consensus sequences, the Tata box and INR sequence, that serve as a specific binding site for general transcription factor. Other cis acting sequences serve as binding site for a wide variety of regulatory factor that controls the expression of individual genes. These cis acting regulatory sequences are frequently thought not always located upstream to the Tata box. So there are certain conserved sequences which are present, and those conserved sequences might be present previously to the Tata box, known as the upstream control element, or they can be present after the Tata box, known as the downstream control elements. So those are the two different types of control elements that might be present here in the case of RNA polymerase second promoters. Then transcription initiation, and how does the RNA polymerase second transcribe the process of transcription? You know that in the case of eukaryotes, through the animation, I have already told you that the rate of transcription can be greatly varied. We can increase or decrease the rate of transcription with the help of different types of transcription factors. So unlike bacteria, RNA polymerase Purified eukaryotic RNA polymerase second could not initiate transcription in vitro. Okay. Purified eukaryotic RNA polymerase second could not initiate transcription in vitro. What will happen? Transcription of eukaryotic gene requires certain protein factors, and those are referred to as transcription factors. So the transcription of eukaryotic gene will require certain proteinaceous factor that should initiate the process of transcription. Those will be referred to as transcription factors. Now, transcription factors can be divided into two different types. Okay, as the name indicate, transcription factors, so these factors are always transacting element. That means these can act at DNA sequences located far away. Transcription factors are transacting regulatory factors that can act over DNA molecules far away. The transcription factors can be of two different types: the basal transcription factors and the cell specific transcription factors. Now, basal transcription factors are being expressed in each and every cell of an organism. Okay, so they are being expressed in each and every cell. So, when you talk about basal transcription factors, the basal transcription factors TF second A, TF second A, etc., which attaches to gene promoter sequences. So, these are the ones that are going to attach to the gene promoter, and the other one is referred to as cell specific transcription factors. These cell specific transcription factor will act over a particular cell, okay, which binds to the regulatory sequences like enhancer and silencers. So these cell specific transcription factors have the ability to bind to certain regulatory sequences, and those sequences are referred to as enhancer and the silencer sequences. Enhancer will enhance the rate of transcription, and silencer sequences are the one that will silence or decrease the rate of transcription. So in this manner, the transcription could be effectively regulated with the use of silencer and enhancer sequence. Transcription regulatory proteins. Now, transcription regulatory proteins can be repressors or activators. Activators will activate the process of transcription, and repressors will be the one that would be repressing the process of transcription. Okay. So repressors will be the one that would be repressing the process of transcription. So transcription can be activated with activator, repressed with repressors. The transcription activator SP1 binds to DNA regulatory sequences and stimulate the process of transcription. Now, there is a transcription factor which is of utmost importance, and that transcription factor is commonly referred to as SP1, that binds to the DNA sequence and will initiate the process of transcription to take place. Now, journal transcription factors. These are all journal transcription factors. That means these transcription factors will act upon all the different cells of the body. Okay, so journal transcription factors. When you talk about the journal transcription factors, these are required for these are required for all somatic cells of the body. All somatic cells of the body. They are being required for the function of the all somatic cells of the body, and are referred to as the GTF, the journal transcription factors. The journal transcription factors can be TF second D, A, B, F, E, and H. These are all the different types of journal transcription factors which are present. तो ये सारे के सारे journal transcription factors हैं जो present होते हैं. अब ये क्या क्या काम करते हैं वो मैंने यहाँ पर explain किया है. देखिए TF second D क्या होते हैं. TF second D recognizes the Tata box and the INR sequence. It is going to recognize two different types of sequences. One is called as the Tata box, another one is called as the initiator sequences. Another one is TF second D. TF second D is the one which helps in the recognition of TBP binding. Tata box, it acts as a Tata box binding protein. So it is the one that is going to bind to the Tata box. Then the other one is TF second A, B, F, E, and H. TF second A is the one that stabilizes TBP, Tata box binding protein, and TAF binding. Okay, so it is going to stabilize the Tata box binding protein and Tata box associated factors. So they are going to bind over the DNA one over the other. Supposingly there is the DNA sequence. Okay, this is a double stranded DNA molecule. Firstly, TF second D will bind, TF second D, and will recognize where the box that is referred to as Tata box is present. Over the TF second D, the other protein that is going to bind is going to be TAF, Tata box associated factors. Now, what it could be? It could be TF second D. After TF second D, the next protein would be TF second A. TF second A will bind to TF second B. TF second B will bind to TF second F. F will bind to E, and E will bind to H. And it would be H that would be promoting the RNA polymerase binding over the Tata box so that the transcription of gene can take place. And here the gene transcription will occur. See this? This is the gene that would be transcribed. It is this gene that would be transcribed. It is the region of the DNA that would be transcribed. Here the transcription is going to take place. So TF second A stabilized Tata box binding protein and Tata box associated factors. Another one is TF second B, intermediate in recruiting RNA polymerase second, influences selection of the start point of transcription. So TF second B will be the one that will be influencing where the start point of the transcription lies and how the transcription is going to take place. Then the next one is TF second F. TF second F is the one that is important for the recruitment of the RNA polymerase. RNA polymerase will be recruited by the TF second F. Very important. Firstly, the recruitment of RNA polymerase is going to take place with TF second F. TF second E is involved in the recruitment of another protein called as TF second H. It is the intermediate in the recruitment of TF second H, and ultimately TF second H is being recruited, which act as an helicase, will cause the DNA to be melted. It will cause the melting of the DNA, conversion of the closed complex into the open complex. See this? Possibly influencing the promoter clearance by phosphorylation at the C terminal domain of the large subunit of the RNA polymerase second. RNA polymerase also has a domain, and that domain is called as the CTD, carboxy terminal domain. It is only this carboxy terminal domain that undergoes phosphorylation, that the activation of transcription will take place. Once the phosphate are being added, one phosphate, 2 phosphate and 3 phosphate. Once the phosphate are being added to the carboxy terminal domain of the RNA polymerase, it will move further and will cause the transcription of the gene. See this. This is the box that was present. The consensus sequences. These two are the consensus sequences which are present. And to these consensus sequences, the TF second D, TF second A, B, F, E, and H are going to bind. So these are all the different types of transcription factors that are going to bind and initiate the process of transcription. Next point. So transcription initiation, you can also look here. Assembly of the RNA polymerase second pre-initiation complex. The indicated journal transcription factors and purified RNA polymerase second bind sequentially to the Tata box. Okay, so all these different types of transcription factors bind sequentially to a consensus sequence, and that is commonly referred to as Tata box of the DNA in order to form a complex, and this complex is referred to as pre-initiation complex. In the first step, TF second D binds specifically to the Tata box, Tata sequence. Next, TF second B enter the complex followed by RNA polymerase second. It is later on followed by RNA polymerase second, escorted by a TF second F. TF second E and TF second H then assembles into the complex. Second, E and H will lead to the formation of complex. H will act as an helicase, as I have already told you. See this, H act as an helicase, activate responsibility for the translation from the closed to the open complex. The translation is going to take place from the transition is going to take place from the closed to the open complex. Okay, so the open complex is going to be produced. Next, promoter clearance will take place, and phosphorylation of the carboxy terminal domain of the RNA polymerase will catalyze the movement of the RNA polymerase over the DNA molecule. Now, see this. Transcription initiation in eukaryotic cell is a much more complex phenomena. Transcription initiation requires the presence of several activator proteins. All these are the different activator proteins. They are all activator proteins. They are all the activator proteins. Activator protein. These are all activator proteins in nature. These proteins bind to specific sequences in the DNA. A typical eukaryotic gene has many activators, which togetherly determine the rate and pattern of transcription of the gene, sometimes acting from a distance of several thousand nucleotide pair. So sometimes the genes can act from a distance of several thousand nucleotide base pairs. Okay, so these are transcription factors. They are transacting, so they can act from any place in the genome. ये जीनोम के अंदर कहीं से भी एक्ट कर सकते हैं बिकॉज दे आर ट्रांसएक्टिंग. नेक्स्ट, दीज जीन्स रेगुलेट प्रोटीन्स. Proteins help RNA polymerase, the journal transcription factor, chromatin remodeling complex, and mediate all to assemble at the promoter. The mediator allow the activator protein to communicate properly with the RNA polymerase and with the journal transcription factor. There are several different types of mediator proteins which are involved. These mediator proteins helps the journal transcription factors to interact to communicate properly with the RNA polymerases. The mediator allow the activator proteins to communicate properly with the RNA polymerase second and with the journal transcription factors. So journal transcription factors are going to B, mediators proteins will allow the journal transcription factors to be interacting with the RNA polymerase second, and ultimately the loading of the RNA polymerase second will take place over the promoter regions, and the transcription of genes will take place in order to form the protein molecules. Next, so you can look here. Genes activator protein binds to chromatin. There are genes activator that bind to chromatin. Chromatin remodeling complex comes, and here the chromatin is being remodified. Chromatin is being modified. Histone modification enzymes. There is a modification of histone going on. Additional activator protein binds to gene regulatory region. Assembly of pre-initiation complex and last translation initiation is going to take place. So this refers to the series of events, the series of changes that are being brought about by all the different transcription factor by binding to a specific sequence of the DNA. Now, there are other proteins which are involved. For example, there are DNA sequences which are involved, and those DNA sequences are referred to as enhancers or silencer DNA sequences. Enhancer will positively increase the gene transcription. Okay, so I'm just writing here, enhances gene transcription. Okay, DNA sequences, DNA transcription regulating sequences, DNA transcription regulating sequences, transcription regulating sequences, regulating sequences can be of two different types. One is referred to as the enhancer sequence, another one is referred to as the silencer sequence. Okay, the first one is called as enhancer sequence, enhancer sequence, and another one is called as the silencer sequence. Enhancer sequence will activate transcription. It will activate transcription. Silencer sequence will inhibit transcription. So silencer sequences are the sequences that are going to be inhibiting the process of transcription. Now, how does enhancer and silencer sequences acts, and what is their functionality? In what process the functionality takes place? Next, next, enhancers are positively transcription control elements that are present. Here, the transcription is going to be positively controlled. They serve to increase the basal level of the transcription. Enhances the level of the transcription. The first enhancers were firstly discovered in the from the genome of the virus simian virus 40, that is referred to as SV40. So SV40 was the first virus from where the enhancer sequences were being discovered. Later on, the first cellular enhancer was being discovered in the human cells of immunoglobulin heavy chain. Now, what are these enhancer sequences? Enhancer sequences are the DNA sequences over which the activator can bind. Look here, enhancer can bind to certain proteins, and those proteins will be called as the activators. Activators. Once activators will be binding, activators will activate the transcription of genes. Activators will activate the transcription of genes. Will activate the transcription of genes. The transcription of genes. Transcription of genes. So activators will be the one that would be activating the transcription of genes. Another one is referred to as insulator. Once the insulator sequence bind in between the promoter and enhancer, it will bind to all the activators and inhibit the activation of promoter. Insulator, see insulator, it is a specific DNA element. If an enhancer activates a specific gene in positive manner, if an enhancer activates a specific gene in position and orientation independent manner, then what stop it from activating other gene? So when the enhancer is going to activate a particular gene, which of the DNA sequence will be there to prevent the action of enhancer over other gene? Supposingly it wanted to enhance the gene X, of course the enhancer has enhanced the gene X. Now, how all other genes will be protected by the action of enhancer? By the presence of a protein that is commonly referred to as the insulator protein. See this insulator DNA. Insulator DNA will bind to enhancer and will inhibit the transcription of genes from the promoter. It is a specific DNA element called as insulator control the action of activators. When an insulator is placed between an enhancer and promoter, it prevents the enhancer from activating the promoter. This may explain how the action of enhancer is limited to a particular promoter. See, insulator controls the action of activators. When insulator is placed between an enhancer and promoter, it promotes the enhancer from it prevents the enhancer from activating the promoter sequence. It will prevent the enhancer from activating promoter sequences. Last is referred to as the silencer sequences. These are the regions present over the DNA and like enhancer may be located thousands of base pairs away from the gene that they control. So enhancer and silencers are both transacting element. Both of these, see this, they are usually 200 base pair in length, and that strongly activation of a linked transcription unit from its correct initiation site. Enhancer activates the transcription unit, silencer silence the transcription unit. It activates transcription unit independent of its orientation. That means it is present in an orientation independent manner. So enhancers are transacting. Hence, enhancers are transacting. They are transacting. Last, it is able to exert its function over large distances of more than 1000 base pair. Able to exert its function over large distance of greater than 1000 base pair. So more than 1000 base pair distances it is going to act. Next, classical silencer are positively independent element, whereas negative regulatory elements are position dependent element. There are other regulatory elements which are referred to as negatively regulatory elements, which are position dependent element. Classical silencers are position independent element. So there are silencers which are position independent, and there are negatively regulatory elements which are position dependent. Okay. Role of activators and co-activators. I have already told you both activators and co-activators are going to enhance the rate of gene transcription. One region of the protein binds to the DNA and another will bind to the activator domain, activate the transcription by interacting with RNA polymerase or the components of the transcription machinery. So one region of the activator will bind to the DNA, another will bind to the transcription factors and will cause the RNA polymerase to be uploaded over the promoter region. The basic function of DNA binding domain is to anchor the transcription factor. The activation domain then independently stimulate transcription by interacting with other proteins. Diverse nature of activation domain have been reported. Some most common types of activation domains are acidic domain, glutamic rich domain. Now these are domains which are present in the protein that will activate the gene transcription. These are domains that are a part of the activator that will activate gene transcription by interacting with transcription factors of the transcription unit. One common example of eukaryotic activator is GAL4. One of the most common example is GAL4. It activates the transcription of GAL1 gene in the case of Saccharomyces cerevisiae. Now, how does GAL4 bind? GAL4 bind to a dimer of 17 base pair upstream to GAL1. GAL4 protein bound to DNA in the rough vicinity of the promoter molecules. When bound there, it is going to activate the transcription of the GAL1 gene many times. Now see this, GAL4 is a transcription factor. It will bind to the promoter region, to the enhancer region of the GAL1 and will enhance the rate of transcription of the GAL1 gene. So the GAL1 gene transcription region transcription will be greatly enhanced by the role of activator and co-activator. We would be starting the DNA binding motifs from tomorrow, and we will be talking about the helix turn helix motif from tomorrow. That's all for today. Hope you have enjoyed the lecture. Thank you. Thanks a lot. Good night. Bye.